Hello, hello. Good morning.
Hi Angelina, how are you?
I'm doing good. How are you?
I'm great. Behind you today.
Thank you. Thank you very much. And I'm not seeing my slides here
Oh,
available. There we go. Oh, wonderful.
Yeah, there you go. Yeah, yeah.
so
Fantastic. All right.
All right, Angelina. Good luck and see you in a few minutes.
Thank you. Hello and good morning, everyone. My name is Angelina Milarie, and I am coming to you from Pasadena, California, USA. And the way I capture what it is that I do is I let people know that I help small to mid sized companies do big things with emerging technology. And you can reach me at my socials. It's basically my first and last name at all of the socials. And so I am an AI strategist and a tech evangelist. And so what that means is by day, I help companies rapidly upskill using AI. So they go from chat GPT users to AI builders in days. And while I'm super passionate about this work and the way that it's driving companies forward, the work that I'm most passionate about is working in my communities through organizations like Google Women Tech Makers, as well as creating series where I can support developing technology skills and career access to underrepresented communities. That's an area that I'm super passionate about because I believe technology opens doors and possibilities. And while I'm a hacker at heart and highly technical, my work sits at the intersection between high tech and hard tech. My journey in AI actually began in K through 12 education, where I was able to use this amazing technology to upskill and improve literacy with students and basically help bridge and close the achievement gap. And this really unlocked for me the power of AI to not only be used for a tool for business purposes, but also to unlock human potential. And as a multi passionate person that wants to do all of the things, generative AI has just blown the roof off of that. So instead of talking to you today about I picked the topic that I'm going to hop into in just a second because the same way that it's blown the roof off of our potential, it's also taken away a little bit of our security blanket in a sense because it's introduced a high level of uncertainty, which triggers our most base natural responses that basically make us pause and hesitate. And as we approach learning new skills, whether you're just learning AI or you're developing new AI technology, AI forces us into a space where we have to be able to approach things with a high level of uncertainty and to rapidly iterate through different potential solutions and maintain that momentum even in the face of sudden and potential failure. So, the talk topics that I'm going to share with you today come from a book I am releasing in the spring that basically are about how to hack that biology in a way to turn what we consider to be limitations into superpowers. So, let's go ahead and dive in. So, if you've ever been stuck or procrastinated, congratulations. Though it can feel like failure, it's actually biology. Your brain is doing exactly what it was designed to do, which is to keep you safe and alive. The amygdala, deep in your brain, is built to detect and respond to threats. So, in prehistoric times, freezing in fear could save your life when facing a predator. But today, our brain doesn't differentiate between a tiger and learning a new skill. And that survival instinct, though well meaning, actually makes uncertainty feel dangerous, even when it's not. So, big goals or things that have too much complexity can trigger overwhelm. And our brains don't like tackling tasks where they feel like it's impossible to complete. So then instead, we shut down. And this response, which is meant to conserve energy, actually ends up working against us. And the rapid pace of technology can feel overwhelming, not just learning the tools and how to master them, but also learning what does this mean in the work that we do? How does this change our jobs and our routines? This can lead to analysis paralysis, where we hesitate and we second guess ourselves, and we can avoid the very tools that could help us succeed. So, just like a pinwheel needs only a small push to start moving and spinning, this Stuck to Unstoppable framework uses 5 simple science backed steps to transform that fear into forward motion. And it rewires the systems that can keep us stuck, turning them into a powerful force for momentum. So, steps 1 and 2 that we'll take a look at in just a second are just about that, getting into motion. Starting is the hardest part because the brain's survival instincts are working against you. And these steps rewire those instincts. And just like knocking over that first domino, it puts that flywheel into motion, giving you the energy to overcome inertia and take those first wobbly steps forward. Steps 3 through 5 are about staying in motion and building momentum. Starting can feel like an uphill battle, but staying in motion is about navigating the potholes and all the different things that can come up along the way. These steps tackle both the internal and the external factors that can slow you down and derail you, turning those brain functions from hijackers into hype men to keep that momentum going and growing. So let's take a look at step number 1. Step number 1 is about turning stop signs into questions. Instead of treating fears and unknown information and obstacles as dead ends, reframe them into a solution-focused questions. This disrupts the survival wiring and activates the problem-solving part of the brain. Often the first action that we take is more internal than external, just shifting your mindset from fear into curiosity and possibility. So our brains are wired for pattern recognition and problem solving. And by asking questions, what's happening is you're activating the prefrontal cortex, which drives creativity, planning, and logical thinking. And when you ask, instead of saying, I don't know this or I can't do that, what you actually do is create options that move you forward by activating this center of your brain instead of being stuck in the more fear-based one. Step 2 shifts your focus away from the end goal and towards the process. When you measure yourself against a big goal, you will always end up falling short or feeling as though you're falling short. But by breaking those goals down into small and achievable steps, you can create steady progress that makes action not only feel achievable, but inevitable. And focusing on the process works because it reduces the cognitive overload and activates the goal gradient effect, which drives motivation as you can start to see measurable progress. So those small, tiny little steps trigger dopamine that creates a positive feedback loop that reinforces action. And over time, you literally rewire your brain to associate progress with reward. And you're able to measure yourself from where you started, not towards where you haven't arrived just yet. Step 3 is about celebrating those small wins. And for this, progress is super tricky sometimes, is that it can be invisible. And when we're focusing on the end goal, it oftentimes does feel invisible. But by celebrating those tiny victories, you create that positive reinforcement that keeps you motivated. And this step helps combat burnout, builds confidence, and reminds you that every little step forward matters, even baby steps. And celebrating these small wins works because it causes the release of dopamine, which is the brain's reward chemical. And dopamine strengthens those neural pathways, making it easier to repeat them. And so this basically creates that feedback loop where success reinforces effort, helping you stay motivated and build lasting habits. Step 4 focuses on creating systems and routines. And this is my favorite because I get so super distracted. So if progress relies on willpower alone, it's so easy to burn out and lose focus. And systems automate those processes so that reduces the effort and decision fatigue that's required so that you can move forward consistently. And it basically helps make progress be a habit, not a struggle. So routines and systems work by reducing decision fatigue and the cognitive drain caused by making too many decisions. Our brains are wired to be super optimized, and so they like to conserve energy for higher level thinking. And research shows that building habits frees up mental resources, so progress can feel natural and sustainable over time. Step 5 This one may seem not obvious at the start, but one of the things that while our brains can imagine anything, sometimes they have trouble imagining things that they can't see. So step 5 is about building your catalog of confidence booster, or basically saving your receipts and proof of success. So this could be having notes about things that you've accomplished, solving a tough problem, completing a project. And if you don't have your own personal proof of something that you've achieved in a specific area, you can borrow some from other people's. But creating this catalog of wins basically helps prove to your brain that progress is achievable. It's like having a highlight reel to counter the doubt that could show up, and to remind yourself that it is indeed possible. And this works because it rewires the brain against its negativity bias, which naturally makes the brain focus on failures. So reviewing positive evidence reinforces the self-belief and builds the emotional resilience. And studies show that confidence grows when progress is visible. And basically, this allows you to turn this reflection into sustained tool for growth. Now, individually, these concepts may be familiar to you, or they may be even things that you've practiced individually. But when you combine them, you create basically a new underlying operating system that helps you unlock incredible momentum. This framework isn't just about getting started, it's about staying in motion and turning progress into an unstoppable force that is inevitable and habitual and automatic. And so, just like there's more than one way to fish, this is one of the things that I absolutely love about AI. You can take these concepts, enter them into your favorite chat system, and basically add details like your context, like what are your available skills? How much time do you have? What money do you have? Whatever it is related to the goal that you're trying to achieve, you can take these steps, apply them by asking your favorite chat bot for assistance and breaking these things down, and get a result that's custom to you. And in this way, you're able to have that extra super boost that's super custom and optimized just for you. So, with the power of AI, you can turn your biology into something that is a superpower, not an obstacle. Thank you so very much for your time.
Really love your presentation, Angelina. And yeah, I was listening very carefully what you said about how artificial intelligence how can we leverage them. And I was wondering, do you have any experience on neural processes? Because you talk about dopamine, how the brain works, and it makes me wonder about if you have any degree or studies about it.
Absolutely. So yeah, so there's a couple that I mentioned during the talk that I also mentioned in the book, where it basically talks about how our brains are rewired, are wired for reward, and by hitting those dopamine centers, by having continuous. Continuous wins, as well as showing that progress,
Mhm.
that basically allows you to set that up for yourself. So you mentioned about the use of AI. As an example, for me, like I'm a multi-passionate person. I love to do so many different things,
Mhm.
and you can't do all of the things all the time, but you can make tiny progress towards each of them. And so
Yeah.
I like to apply these neuroscience concepts by asking AI, here's all the things I want to do, here's my most important goal. Based
Mhm.
on this, what can I get done in 10 minutes at a time? Take this thing, break it down for me, and let me know.
Yeah.
And that's one way to use it. Another way is just helping me learn more about what it is that I don't know. So if you're feeling stuck and the brain is resisting because it doesn't like change and uncertainty, I
Mhm.
basically use AI to overcome that hurdle by basically having it break things down to me in a way that I can approach. And so then
Mhm.
I can start to tackle it bit by bit from my level of understanding at the moment. And I've been able to unlock concepts that were previously completely lost on me in this way. So that's
Yeah.
how I
Yeah.
neuroscience and AI.
Yeah. We can leverage AI in that fashionable way. Julissa, do you have any questions, comments for her?
Yeah, sorry, I got a bit distracted with backstage stuff. But yeah, I have one. Um, Angelina, what's one small habit we can start today to overcome fear build momentum. Maybe you could share an advice with us.
Yeah, I absolutely feel like the step one is step one for a reason for me. And I feel like being able to turn that stop sign into a question is transformative. So let's say, for instance, like someone was talking earlier about quantum computing. That's something I've been curious about and I wanted to know about. And their talk broke it down really good for me. But if I was feeling like, hey, I don't know where I should begin to take the next step in my understanding, instead of saying, you know, I'll get to that later, I don't know. I would start by turning that stop sign into a question by basically saying, hey, here's the talk that I did, I heard. It made me curious about these things. What can I learn next? Or what is the next step in this? Or here's what I know. Give me a quick breakdown and concise bullets of what I don't know and what I should take on next. And that's just, I'm riffing here on that, but you can optimize the prompt. But yeah, just that one skill to me that unlocks all the rest of it is don't get stuck. Turn it into a question, because you can then go with the internet and look up the answer or ask someone else and you're never stuck.
Hmm. Yeah, yeah, absolutely agree with you. Thank you very much again, Angelina. Nice to having you here. And for all the members here, you can reach out to her by via social networks. And yeah, and um, once
Thank you
again,
again.
thank you.
Thank
Yeah,
you.
see ya.
Bye.
Bye.
All right, Julissa, back to you.